views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio with Sara Loos. Sara Loos introduces us to her unique style that is creating massive transformational results for people across the globe in this hit show. If you want to propel yourself towards big breakthroughs of your own, make sure to bring your playful, magical self to the party as Sara turns reality on end to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Step into enlightening minds, empowering hearts, expansive results. Blame, doubt, and fear are not invited.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Pat, and you just heard the introduction for a fabulous new show that we are doing, a fabulous series. So for those of you out there, I hope you all are ready to take small steps and have big breakthroughs with Sara Loos today. Enlightening minds, empowering hearts, expansive results. You know, this is an incredible series we're doing with her for a lot of reasons. She and I were just talking about it. But most importantly, it is, as we have said on a previous show, on the Dr. Pat Show Network, on Transformation Talk Radio, on transformationradio.fm. Our theme this year, no limits. And that's what I'm excited about. Before I introduce Sara to all of you, I want to say hi to Mr. Benny. Happy Benny Day.
Hey, wow, I got my own day. Fantastic. I don't think it's about me today, though. I think it's about Sara.
It is. You know, this is really an exciting time for all of us. I mean, I know that you're celebrating a birthday, Sara's celebrating birthday, but we're all giving birth to a new idea about our lives and the expansive nature of it. So today, we get to introduce everybody to this fabulous hit show. Sara's going to talk with us about how to enlighten our minds, but more importantly, how to do that and at the same time empower our hearts. Now, why do we want to do that? Well, she's going to talk with us about the work that she's been doing to help people step into their dreams, but to step into it in an amazing way. Today's show is the first of an entire series we're doing with Sara. But here's what you should know. You know, her work not only focuses on what happens in our minds, but her teachings are all about how to connect with God in a deeply personal way. This is like super important because I don't know about anybody out there, but I don't know if we can enter into no limits without a little help from the divine. And so this divine power is something you're going to hear a lot about. And throughout the show series, learn about what Sara has done. You know, beyond being out in the world, you know, helping people with communication, with their careers, you know, like many of us having that management job, we show up today to know that we can have an amazing career, that we can recognize our gifts, and tap into the intuition that has gotten us to say yes to no limits. Today, you're going to hear about our journey, but most importantly, the first show we're coming out of the gate with is what? Let's get this party started. Sara, it's so great to have you here.
Oh, Pat, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, before we jump into this, I really want to stop for a minute. And here's what I want to say about it. You know, there's so much that folks don't get to know about us. They hear an introduction and, you know, before you know it, there's just this brief way to describe who we are. Here's what I want to ask you before we get into Happy New Year, right? Happy New Year, Happy New You, right? I would love to know, what are some of the challenges, obstacles that you had to overcome to fully embrace your Happy New Year and your Happy New You in the party fashion?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Well, for me, this new year is all about, I love that you said this is all about no limits.
Yeah.
And I realized that 2017 for me, Sara, personally,
Mm-hmm.
about making myself as accessible as possible to everyone who wants to change their lives for the better, who really wants to be empowered to live their life in their brightest, most divine fashion. And that means this is my first radio show with you. So do you think there was a little bit of fear? Yeah, there was. I'm human. So it was like going, Sara, get out of your head, lose fear, decide that I'm here on purpose. I know I'm here on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's time. We all need to lock arms and go like, don't let anything stop us from doing what we're here to create. Right?
Yes. I'm telling you, Sara, like this is such an important conversation right now because, fear is, has a way to kind of seep into every pore in your body. You know what I'm saying about that? It's kind of like, we don't have to keep our head in the sand, but fear happens with us, doesn't it? When we feel we are powerless in life. What is it that you've discovered with people that you work with to say, you know what, I'm here today to tell you we can get this party started, even if you're in fear, right? Because I've been doing this 14 years, and I got to tell you, I still get butterflies coming on the show like today.
Absolutely. Well, for me, your audience is going to learn about this, but I'm all about small, little theories about things, like keep everything small and manageable, right? And if we focus on something small and manageable, it helps us break it down and overcome it. So fear for me, fear is the lack of faith. And so when I see fear show up, I sit with myself and I go, okay, really? Do you want to feed the fear, or do you want to feed your faith? And then I stop and think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, fear comes from my ego, who's trying to limit me from being big. And I sat down. I literally, like I always say to my clients, it's like step out of your body and see things like you're staring at it eye to eye. And I'm like, oh no, fear. That's what you are. You're this small little bully. That's my ego trying to keep me small. And I'm not going to have it. My faith is much bigger than that. You're not holding me back.
Yeah.
And that's just how I deal with it each and every time. And then I just, ask God and the angels and everything that's divine to surround me and remind me that I'm bigger than that fear. And it works.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're talking about this because listen, folks may or may not know this, right, Sara? That if you're in faith, it's impossible for you to be in fear. Now, okay, right? Can you see me coming out of the gate saying, listen, we get to choose because when we want to get this party started, don't we have to choose? Like if we're going to say Happy New Year, Happy New You, we're going to say Happy New You, what? To be in faith or to be in fear, right? I mean, isn't this something that you and I can get totally fired up about here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single thing that's happened in our lives to this moment was based on a choice. So to me, 2017 is about making empowering choices, not poor choices, not disabling choices, not suffocating choices, not, giving into someone else's, choosing somebody else's agenda, empowering choices. So absolutely, it's like I'm choosing faith so that I propel forward, and it's time, right?
Yeah, it is time. Today we're talking about the many, many ways to get the party started, right? So let's take a look at this for a minute. Happy New Year, Happy New You. This is what we're talking about right out of the gate. We had a great show. We're going to talk about joy. We're going to talk about everything here. But let's talk about this energy, right? What is the energy of this new year? And when I say we can make new choices, or better yet, when you say we can make new choices, let's talk about what those things are. And also, Sara, I want to ask you, what role does spiritual practice or work have in all of this?
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to do a small side step for a moment. And I want to share with your listeners what I was telling you about when we talked yesterday. I did a webinar over the weekend, which was the 3 best resolutions to have for the new year. And I wrote that entire program weeks in advance. And then I woke up that morning and I did my meditation prayer time because I'm extremely spiritual. It's the foundation of everything I do. And I was told loud and clear that I had 3 different resolutions that I was going to share. And it could have totally tripped me up and like, what? We're changing the program. And I was like, who am I kidding? Spirit, God, for me, is always leading the way. And as long as I allow that to happen, everything falls into place beautifully. There's no more efforting. There's no more resistance. There's no more any of those things that are low negative vibration, energies or feelings. And so I was like, who am I kidding? Of course, God's supposed to lead the show. So it's the same coming into the new year. For me, it's about my spiritual practice and my connection to God is priority number 1. And when I teach that to clients and get them to understand how to feel that and own that, and most importantly, Pat, live that. Really live it. Not from I'm talking about it on a radio show and I'm listening to Sara talk about it on a radio show and I'm theorizing it. I'm like, live it, embody it. What does that mean? So spiritual practice, spiritual connection, priority number 1. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, when we talk about priority number 1, we're talking about no limits here. Because aren't we really saying to ourselves, wait a minute, just the word party itself, right? Let's get the party started. When we think about the word party, that word, right, doesn't really have a lot of limitation around it. We get a feeling about it, right? So I want to ask you this question before we hop to break. Many of us may have this little idea that transformation has to be a mega event in life. Tell us a little bit about what happens when we put transformation and spirituality together.
Oh, wow.
Limitless.
Yeah. Sure. That's the word, limitless. Yeah. The way I do this stuff is I like to say that, most people think it takes tons of work, tons of efforting, and they come at spirituality with this, like, it's dull, it's painful, it's so serious. And actually, in my world, that's what causes us not to have the breakthroughs. The energy of it literally changes your outcome. And so the way I work with it is spirituality can be fun, it can be joyful. And honestly, why we're calling it a party is it's really a celebration of life. When I can get people to recognize in any moment the joy zone, the place where it's a celebration and there's higher energy and excitement, we have the breakthroughs. We realize that we're using energy in a lot of people use the word flow. In other words, it's lack of resistance. And that's when the magic happens. It's like, really? It's that simple? Yeah. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be painful and no. Yeah. How about we make this fun, liberating? And then all of a sudden people go, wow, never thought of it that way.
I'm all in. We're going to take a short break. But before we do, Sara, look, we're going to do a lot of, information today on the show. But there are going to be some people that say, wait a minute, I want more of what Sara's got. What is the best way for people to find out more about you as well as work with you?
Awesome. Yes. So I have a website and it's saraloos.com. I'm going to spell it. I always say it's Sara without an H, S-A-R-A, and Loos without an E, L-O-O-S, saraloos.com. You'll find out all sorts of my programs there and ways I can support you. And that's what I want to do in 2017.
And I just want to tell everybody that, this is the beginning. Sara has come to the forefront for all of you out there. When we said no limits, we knew out of the gate that we were going to need to bring some people that live their lives like that. That's Sara. So if you want to break free of whatever's holding you back, this is why we're bringing people to the forefront. And Happy New Year, Happy New You with Sara. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, what is Sara's favorite ingredient to this? What is a favorite ingredient? Is it hot chili pepper? Or in my case, is it garlic? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, talk radio to thrive by. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Yeah! Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
There are so many resources out there for meditation. But did you know that Atana's Heart Earth Healing Meditation is available for you for free? Yes, that's right. You can receive this free healing meditation today from Atana Vadili. All you need to do is visit his website, atanamethod.com. That's ATAANA method.com, and sign up. You will receive your free meditation instantly. That's atanamethod.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
When your body is awakened, your spirit comes alive. Dana Canetto is a transformational guide, embodiment coach, and spiritual mentor assisting women in realigning with their truth and embodying who they are by connecting to the wisdom of their body. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show Network for Body Divinity Radio with Dana Canetto. For more information on Dana and her services, visit danacanetto.com. That's DANACANNETO.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Benny. That was pink. Sara, thank you so much for today. What a fabulous show and series we're putting together for people. Small steps, big breakthroughs. I mean, this is one of the most incredible messages we can have this year, right? Because it really transcends our old thinking. But before we jump into telling everybody, I can't wait to hear what your favorite ingredient is. Again, please tell folks how they can find out more about you.
Yes, absolutely. SaraLoos.com, SaraLoos.com.
All right. Okay, drum roll. What's your favorite ingredient?
Joy.
Joy.
Yes. Joy. Joy is the catalyst for real magic. Truly. We really can use joy when we take any and all things that we're struggling with, and if we can put it in joy energy, it's amazing, it's magical, it's miraculous is really the word, because we don't expect it to work this way. Like our minds go, what?
Yeah.
I could take something deep and painful, and I'm going to teach you to put it in a pot with joy, stir it up, and all of a sudden that negative, heavy, dark, suffocating energy disappears, and you literally transform it. It's gone, like in an instant. It's crazy. Like the people I work with are always amazed that they can bring me their deepest, darkest stories, and they don't want to talk about it. I'm like, will you trust me? Will you just trust me? Let's sit with this. And I promise you within 5 minutes, you're going to be through it at the other side. And it's awesome because sometimes these people have been carrying this stuff around for 20, 30 years, stuffing it down. Like, let's bring joy in and see what happens. It's so fun. It's so cool.
Well, here's what I want to say. I was talking to a couple of people over the weekend who are having a really difficult time for a lot of reasons. And I've got to ask you the question. I kind of grew up with a mom who said, in her Southern drawl, it would be like, oh, honey, we all born with joy. It's all that other, and I can't cuss on air, it's all that other stuff that we create for ourselves that gets in the way of feeling the juice, the joy juice. Tell us what keeps us stuck, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. Well, first of all, our ego keeps us stuck. And I mean our ego mind, the part where the ego is trying to keep us safe and keep us from going outside this little tight box that we live in. So our ego tells us lots of stupid stories about we can't and you're not good enough and all of those kind of things. And that's the kind of stuff that really keeps us stuck. And we start believing those stories. And what happens is those stories grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and they become these monsters that really do hold us back and keep our light from shining, is what I say, because every single person is divine and has this brilliant light inside of them. And my job is to help that come out. So joy is this really neat thing. Joy is actually our highest vibration as a human species. And what I mean by that is when you are operating in joy, like scientifically, literally joy is like where we're at the place we can shapeshift. And I don't mean to turn into werewolves and crazy stuff. I'm talking like you, from a cellular level, you can literally make changes in thought patterns, but also physicality, and everything moves and transforms. When we say transformation, we're not talking about changing clothes. We're talking about big changes, right? Like changes that change your life, that change the propulsion of where you're headed and everything you're going to feel from there forward, right?
Yeah. And, I love talking about this because you and I talk for a minute. Let's just talk our personal experience. Yeah. I used to think, because I used to listen to people, I used to think that, man, I want to transform, I want to change. And boy, I had someone say to me one time, Sara, Pat, I'm telling you, it's going to take you about 10 years. And what I discovered is what you touched upon in the previous segment, and I want to get back to it. If we are not in our God self, maybe it would take that, but there's something about spirituality and play together, right?
Absolutely.
That helps us catapult this. And I would love for you to talk a little bit, because I don't know about you, but I know that I've worked with some people in my life that said, play and spirituality, they're like oil and vinegar. But I don't know. I have not found that. Can you please share, your perspective on this and what you found in the people you've worked with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, when you say that joy and spirituality don't go together, to me that echoes of my a lot of what I grew up in too, where religion is like sacred and it's don't mess with it, and there's so many taboos of what you can and cannot do, and it's stifling. And I disagree. I think that spirituality and spiritual practices need to be liberating, and they're supposed to be liberating. And for me, God is joyful. God is playful. God is so, without limits, and is here to help us be without limits. I think that from my perspective, Christ was the most brilliant teacher and taught all about like our power to create miracles if we have faith, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about, do you get how powerful and amazing you can be and how excited you should be about that? It's a celebration. So yeah, if people think that it's going to take them forever to change, and that probably says, A, they've decided to take forever and not change, and B, it says, I'm not letting go of the ownership of this. In other words, I think I'm in control. See, for me, just even saying to you about the whole New Year's resolution thing, I've got to get out of the way of God. for me, my work is get out of the way. Don't think you, Sara, are doing this. And I say it all the time. When I sit down with clients, I'm like, okay, just so you remember, I'm not doing this. Somebody else is doing it. I get to facilitate it. So it's like allowing God, spirit, whatever word you want to use for that, to show up and take over. I mean, do you not think that everything is possible? Anything is possible when we let God run the show. And then it's so magical.
You know, I love this because I like magic. Let's talk about magic for a minute, but let's talk about it from the context of no limits. And what I mean about that is, like you mentioned before about science. We now know what science is saying to us. We also know that some of the world's greatest scientists based their discoveries, a lot of them, Einstein is one, based on intuition and spirituality. What do you do to help people, right, move beyond, bypass the ego? How do we do that?
Wow. Well, there's a great tool that I love to teach. Do you want me to do that now?
I would love for you to do that now.
Awesome. Okay. So it's really one of the most important things that we can do. And it sounds very silly, but that's the way I work. I want everybody out there listening to my voice to really understand there's two principles I work with. One is we're going to play. We're going to play with the stuff because it gets your ego we're going to trick your ego, basically. And we're going to empower your heart to run the show. So what you're going to do is you're going to pretend that your ego is a dog that has not been trained. Now, I'm an animal lover, so just get that what I'm talking about is that dog that you know is going to be this most amazing companion to you, and that's what your ego can be and should be. That's what I teach. But you've got to train it. So in the beginning, when that dog, maybe you adopted it from the kennel and you don't know what its background was or what it's been through, it needs a little discipline. So we're going to discipline the ego. And what you do is you close your eyes. Everything I do with my clients, you do it with your eyes closed so that your mind isn't racing and looking at stimulus and thinking about other things. We've got to bring ourselves present to the moment. So we close our eyes and we just think about that dog, that voice in your head that's like, you're not good enough. What makes you think you could possibly do that? Or, you're just such a mess up. We all have that voice that just really wants to belittle us and degrade us. And so you think about that voice and get angry. Get like, I am so aware that this voice has to stop talking so that I can hear God's voice inside me, right?
Yeah.
It's silencing that nasty voice. So what you do is you close your eyes, you stand up, your feet are planted firmly on the ground, and you imagine that you have to tell that dog that you're the boss and that it will listen to you. And so what you do, as silly as this sounds and feels, I promise you it's powerful. So you stand firmly in your body and you get mad because you're tired of hearing the voice and you point your arm forcefully to the corner and you say, no, sit, stay. And you hold your arm out until like you feel the energy of like, I am serious. I mean business. Mm-hmm. And only when you feel the energy, you'll literally feel the energy dissipate and like stop. And then you'll be like, wow, that was so cool. And then you bring your arm back down to your side. And you get into practice, you play with this many times, many times. And all of a sudden your ego literally goes, gosh, she means business. Well, I better not mess with her anymore. And then that's the opening. That's like oh boy, here, now we get to play. Now Sara gets to teach me how to hear the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I love this. And you know why I love it? Because Benny I know Benny's probably kind of like thinking about this. This show, Sara, was originally called Crust Busting Your Way to an Awesome Life. And those kinds of exercises and what you just said are so important. And we have let's just say, in this whole movement, some people call it human potential movement, we have really forgotten the basics that super seriously work. When we come back, everyone, Sara is going to take us on a journey as she rewrites the new narrative on less is more. Now, why do we say that in every aspect of our lives? But when it comes to no limits, we think we got to run so fast on that hamster wheel. but we never really get the food. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with Sara Loos.
Act up from Northwest East Side. Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoned, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Registration is now open for the 25th Annual Women of Wisdom Conference. Join the fabulous presenters from around the country on February 16th through the 20th. If you believe in raising the feminine spirit and transforming our world, then this conference is for you. Get your tickets now. One-day and full weekend passes are available. For more information about presenters and tickets, visit womenofwisdom.org. That's womenofwisdom.org.
A word of caution. If you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Sky Siegel co-hosts one of today's most popular psychic shows, Angels and Answers, with Artie Hoffman, as she communicates healing messages from the spirit world. These messages can be astounding, enlightening, and life-changing. Born with the God-given talent of inner guidance and the amazing ability to heal, Sky has healed thousands of people. Schedule a reading with Sky now. Call 908-500-1474 and visit skyofangels.com.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on transformationtalkradio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on transformationtalkradio.com.
Tune in to Dynamics of Diversity Radio, scripting the new narrative for immigration with leading experts Kripa Upadhyaya and Steve Tanijo on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This show will remove the noise that often accompanies discussions on this topic and share a new perspective on the dynamics of immigration and diversity, ever reminding us that together we are all at the core of innovation, excellence, and positive change. Visit OrbitLawPLLC.com for upcoming topics.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Oh, yeah, this is so good. Hey, everybody. I am so thrilled to introduce all of you to Sara Loos on Transformation Talk Radio, the Dr. Pat Show Network, transformationradio.fm. And I am also thrilled to introduce you to her amazing show, Small Steps, Big Breakthroughs, Enlightening Minds, Empowering Hearts, Expansive Results. And there's a reason why Sara is one of the most sought after people to help us jump in to the year in a way, as we like to say, with no limits. Now, Sara, I know before we get into less is more, I know that you have something awesome planned for us. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to, Pat. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I am all in 2017 and helping as many people as I possibly can to get the expansive results they're looking for. So Pat and I were talking, and we decided to put together what I'm calling the Sister Spirit Party. And what that's all about is it's going to be a group, a female group, women's group that I am going to lead for 90 days. That's 12 weeks of tools, deep tools that are so powerful to really help you transform your life We're going to come together, lock arms. We're going to put our big girl pants on. We're going to have fun. And each week, I'm going to be teaching you another transformational tool that really is going to make big differences. And you play with exercises and experiments that assignments that I'm going to give you. And when you play with them, all of a sudden you start seeing the power of them. So we're going to come together in this group called the Sister Spirit Party. And if you're interested in really making changes in your life this year, and this is your year to do it, I hope that you will join this group. It's going to be available on my website. And what I wanted to say is I also want to make sure everybody's like, there's no hesitation. So I'm going to offer each of the Transformational Talk Radio listeners, you're going to get a discount. You're going to actually get $50 off the price of this program if you enroll by February 10th. And it starts on February 27th. So it's going to be powerful. It's 90 days committing to big changes in your life. And we're going to do it in a totally different way. We're going to bend reality. We're going to have fun. We're going to have giant breakthroughs for you.
Awesome. All right. Here is what I believe one of the most misunderstood ideas about how to change our lives. And that is less is more. And I think it is misunderstood because when we say less is more, we also wrap into that the idea to ask for what we truly desire in life is not what we're supposed to do. So I think this is confusing. And you now have created a new narrative on this that says, wait a minute, less is more, but not about our dreams, right?
Not about it. Well, I would say it this way.
Yeah.
So less is more is all about, we in our world complicate things like crazy. We intellectualize things like crazy. And then what we end up is basically, I'm going to tease about this, but we end up crazy. Like we literally get so confused and off track because we're trying to, there's something about the ego again, that's like, if I make this sound really smart and I complicate it, then it's that much more brilliant. And that's actually not the truth. Brilliance is found in simplicity. So the things that I teach are all about simplifying things so that they can actually drop deeply in. I use the term, I always talk about it goes into your sponge. Like it goes in there, girl. Like I hear it and I feel it and I get it. Finally, I get it, right? And it's about taking off the complications. Instead, it's about making it so simple that I finally deeply understand. I actually believe Christ's teachings were all very simple, and I think it was intentional. Our brain literally absorbs things in small doses. Phone numbers, 3 digits or 4 digits, no more than that. That's how we memorize things. So the way I work is to keep everything really, really simple so that you absorb it and you figure out really what does and doesn't resonate with you quickly. It's super, super important.
Well, let's talk about this. This idea is no limits, right?
Right.
This is the time we're thinking no limits and we're thinking small steps. Can you talk a little bit about what this means for us to take these small steps? Because we're right. I mean, we're looking at, the masters. We're looking at Christ, for example, and the teachings, that have been brought down to us. But this idea of small steps is exactly the way our brains like to take things, right? I mean, we don't go to the gym if we've never lifted a weight before and sit down and think we're going to pick up a 50-pound barbell, right? I mean, maybe Benny does, but most of us are not going to do that. Yet we have our ego that would love for us to believe that we can. Don't small steps get us where we want to go anyway, and most of the time more efficiently?
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, so there are small things that you do, and it's to actually just, there's such power in the now, right? You've heard a lot about that. But to really recognize where you are right now and just like, what's the next best step? Literally, that's it. And really bring everything back into what is the next best choice. And to really, it's really to train ourselves, train our minds to be able to take one step at a time and that be enough. But when we take that step, it's to really believe with expectant joy that this step is a good step. You know, it's like, so it's from small things like that. I think a lot of people have misunderstood, like the power of your breath. I mean, our breathing, yeah, it keeps us alive and functioning, but the power of our breath is amazing. So I really work with people to understand that the small step of breathing deeply can change the energy and therefore your outcome.
Yeah. You know, as we're taking a look at wanting to this year to be an amazing year, you know, there are a lot of things that you're putting together to help people. I want to just take a minute, if we could, and talk about, you know, the invitation that you mentioned before about creating a party, inviting people to come together. And, you know, I don't know about you, but working with others and getting connected with others and starting to look at how together we can create some powerful transitions. Tell us a little bit about what that's going to be like for people, what the party is like.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Agree. So, you know, we all have our stories. We all have our, what we believe are our limitations, but what happens is when we all gather together and we are like, we're doing this, let's make this happen, then there's massive transformational power in that. And everybody's intention to change, right? And to make progress. And there's no competition. There's no like, it's just really that everybody comes together and says, let's do this. I'm here for you. I'm voting you to succeed and I'm cheering you on. So we're going to get on a call every Monday. And I laughed. The way I wrote the material is like, you know, we usually dread Mondays. Well, Mondays are going to be like powerful. It's the start of your week. Could we get excited about it? We're going to come together on the phone. I'm going to be giving powerful tools, one each week, and experiments. We're going to talk about our outcomes and what's happened. We're going to have a Facebook page where people can cheer each other on and support each other, because this is really about a community of women coming together saying, please, let's do this. Will you support me? Will you cheer me on? Will you see me through to the other side? Because that's magical and it's beautiful. And, you know, that is when transformation happens, when we all, because we believe in each other. And that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be there voting everybody into this magical new place in their life and all the other women cheering each of us on. So I think it's going to be a gorgeous experience for anybody who chooses to participate. And like I said, the great thing is it's going to be fun and it's going to be easy. It's going to be simple things that you can change. I'm going to take a second, Pat, and say this.
Yeah.
So many people think they have to make giant changes. To your point, like go pick up a 50, pound dumbbell and gotta get strength fast or build muscle fast. Not going to happen. We're going to make small steps. And it's like, I always say, it's like a lock on a safe. There are these small little clicks, like take 3 little clicks to the right and all of a sudden the safe opens. That's it. Literally, you're that close, but most people don't even know it. So it's like me watching and with my intuitive things that I do, listening deeply and going, you're so close. Could you just make this small adjustment to what you just said and think about it this way? Just slight adjustment and the magic happens. Everything cracks open and they're blown away by how much different they feel and they see and life is from that point forward.
Wow. And you've worked with women for years and you work with women from all walks of life. So you've obviously seen this in action. And what I love about this is seeing things in action. And so, for example, what I mean is you've seen women literally create the lives they want. What is that like as you observe that? What is that like for you, Sara?
Oh, you're going to make me cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because wow, seriously. There is nothing more beautiful. Okay, maybe a baby being born, maybe. It is the most gorgeous thing to sit with a client, another female, and see them eye to eye or hear them frequently. I'm doing this across phone lines, and it doesn't matter where you are. The phone lines technology works, and it's magical that way too. But to hear them finally discover the truth of who they are, I tell you, every time I do cry, they cry, I cry. And it's just this, it's literally birthing someone into their new magical life. And nothing is the same again. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm getting choked up talking about it. It's my favorite thing to do because, we're all so divine and we just forgot. So when I get to do that with someone and bring them into their celebration of life, wow, it is so brilliant. It's beyond words. It's genuinely beyond words. Yeah.
This is why you and I do what we do. And we suit up and we show up to do it. Awesome. If it weren't for the mentors, for the angels that have helped me all throughout my life, everything from a hotel manager when I was homeless to bosses that, fought for me, I don't know that I would be here. And so you and I get to pay that forward, don't we? But we also get to do it and do it with some fun now, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I think, you and I, we get to do this because we're coming from this place of just such unconditional love and joy. And that feeling is like, you can't help but want to share it with other people. And you see people in pain and you can't help but want them to feel what we feel and to be lifted up and to be brought into this new awareness. It's really a new reality, right? It's a whole different reality of when you're so connected and that you're supported and trusted in the universe and everything that's divine and awesome is here for us to support us. Wow.
Well, it is amazing. And we can also help people learn how to play. In the work that you're doing, you don't just, invite people to play. But I got to tell you, there have been some folks, and I know you've worked with them, Sara, that their lives have really been tough. I mean, really, really tough. So even the idea of playing seems really off-putting. We do have to learn how to get back to play again, don't we? And I would just talk a little bit about, what it is that we can do to help all of us get out of our heads and start playing a little bit more.
Okay. So I'm going to teach you another tool.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had clients that I've sat with and I've heard their stories and I shiver and I'm just like, I can't, I have this place this thing that happens to me first where I go to this place which is like, what is wrong with this world? How could people treat each other that way? And then I have to catch myself too. That's the point. Catch yourself in the feeling. Okay. You got to notice your feelings. And my work is all about quickly recognize how you're feeling and choose to move it. So if it's negative feeling, move it out. Because there's we're not going to have any of that ugly stuff here, girl, Yeah. So another tool that I use, which is, again, it's going to feel really silly and it's really simple. But again, that's what it's all about. I use this with my kids when they're grumping about their homework. But anytime I'm feeling that yucky negative energy, and when I'm sitting with a client who's telling me their deepest, darkest stories, I'm like, okay, we're going to stop for a minute. Just first of all, let's not stay in the story because that's marinating in it. Do you want to stay there? Do you want to keep feeling that way? Or you want to move it out and make massive changes? So the first thing that we do is we stand up and we put our hands on our hips and you bend your knees. And this is going to sound absolutely just ridiculous. I own it and it's powerful and it works. And then you're going to bend your knees and you're going to literally shake your tail, like wag your tail, your butt, as if, like a dog would wag its tail. And you're going to shake, 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 shake as hard as you can. And then you stand up slowly, and you'll notice that the energy is gone, because now all of a sudden you have this rush of lightness that runs through the core and out your head. And it's like, whoa, look at that. You can, in a moment, change your energy. And now that your energy's changed, now we can pick up another tool and work with it to build something better.
Wow. This is really part of the journey that we don't really talk about a lot, when we're talking about taking these transformations and putting them into action. The whole idea about work, isn't that like a heavy word? When we say, oh, we got to do the work, we got to do the work. There's a part of this that is work, but we can do the work in a playful way. And I think that's really what you're talking about. You're talking about ways to move the energy and to feel the joy now.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I could come up with a better word for work. Maybe in my next episodes, I'm going to go, Pat, I came up with a better word. Here's the word. It's just the way we think about it. So at least it's something that I can use. And then everybody goes, oh, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's like, it's the work. But at the same time, like when I work with clients, they get assignments that they do each week that they play with. It's like, put this on and play with it and see if it doesn't massively change things. Like putting on a costume and pretending you're that person, that character for the week, right? Massive changes. So they put things on, and we call it PLARK, which is play work, because it's really about playing with these concepts so that they go deeply into your sponge, that you finally, you trick your brain, your ego mind, and it goes, oh my gosh. So it allows you to have the experience, to really embody and have the feeling of the real deep divine resonance of the meaning of the tool then. Like so many people, there's so many things that we take for granted because we've never really taken them in deeply. Mm-hmm. There are things we talk about like prayer, or we talk about breath, or we talk about meditation, or we talk about, and it all is like these concepts that unless you experience them deeply so that it moves you on a deep spiritual level, then you're still just talking about it. So it's really about applying these simple approaches so that you feel it, you embody it, and everything changes. And then it's not work. It's actually really playful and fun. It's amazing how quickly we can turn old concepts, just that you recognize they're stale. You're like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. It's not moving me forward. Let's play and have massive breakthroughs now.
Yeah, I love this. And again, one of the things I want to say, I love massive breakthroughs. Today you are talking about, let's get the party started. Now we're going to do a series of shows, conversations, let's say together, because one of the things you say is make 2017 your best year ever. And I would love for you to give us a personal message about that. And again, Sara, please tell us how we can sign up, get the party started with you.
Awesome. Well, 2017 is an exceptional year to make the changes that your heart desires. If you're anybody listening to me, if you're feeling stuck in any way, stagnant in any way, if there's resistance in any way to the life you're living, then it's time to make changes. And energetically, this is the 1 year, which is all about a fresh start. So came into the new year, don't be looking at resolutions about weight loss and all those things that are outside of you. The most important thing you can focus on is your self-development, your spiritual path, your development in yourself as a soul, a being that wants to be vibrant and divine and brightly shining from here forward. So you can go to my website. It's saraloos.com, SARALOOS.com. And I want you to look for a group called the Sister Spirit Party. And the Sister Spirit Party is going to be a powerful, fun group of women coming together for 90 days 90 days in this year, small window of time to dedicate to making vibrant changes that are really going to give you the breakthroughs you desire, give you the tools so that from here forward, you're like, I know what to do with this. This is just a story. This is just negative energy. I know what to do with this. So I'm going to empower you to make the changes that you deeply desire in your life and make this your best year yet.
You've been listening to Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio with Sara Loos. In each show, Sara helps us destroy sabotaging beliefs and behaviors to rewire our thinking and launch us to embracing what we're capable of creating. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. Tune in each month on transformationtalkradio.com. Don't fret, if you've missed Sara live, visit saraloos.com and download the podcast. That's Sara, LOOS.com.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.